No matter what sort of life you're living, you'll run into people who just won't listen to what you have to say. When words don't get through, the easiest alternative is beating them into submission. It's certainly a bit of a rough solution, but when you're dealing with another man, it's at least an option. But when you're dealing with a woman, let alone a shrimp of a girl who doesn't come up to your shoulder, it's a different story. If you start swinging your fists around out of irritation under those circumstances, anyone would call it bullying the weak. It's bad style. Leaves an unpleasant taste in your mouth, too. What's called for in such situations is perseverance and patience. They're always saying we live in an age of technological wonders. So I've been waiting for someone to invent a machine you can stick on your back and switch to Zen-like, instantly granting yourself infinite self-control. But despite the clear market potential, the world isn't yet such a convenient place. Well, no big deal. I'm pretty used to endurance tests by now. It's been 5 minutes since I spotted Irisu Makina wandering aimlessly around the campus and called out, "What are you up to?" in a casual tone. On the bright side, she reacted to my voice and stopped dead in her tracks instead of fleeing. But the next step is proving a little more problematic. The girl's just staring up at my face. She hasn't said a word. Can you not speak Japanese? Silent as always, Makina shakes her head back and forth in denial, apparently having understood my question. Are you afraid of me, maybe? Her silence continues, and this time there's neither confirmation nor denial. It seems unlikely that she didn't understand the question, which would mean this one is in uncertain territory somewhere between yes and no, as far as I can guess. I'm repeating myself, but this sort of communication takes a lot of patience and persistence. I try to consciously consider things from Makina's point of view. A transfer student with an unclear background, what's more, a man 178 centimeters high. From the perspective of Makina, who I guess to be around 140 centimeters, it might well be a little intimidating to have me towering above her. For the moment, I crouch down so that my eyes are level with hers. It seemed like you were wandering around the grounds. Are you looking for something? Makina speaks a single word in a quiet voice and once again shakes her head in denial. Then what were you doing? That's a point of some interest to me, but well, if you get down to it, wherever she is and whatever she's doing is her own business, I suppose. I'm not a policeman and I don't have any reason to drag it out of her. In this case, it might be best to find some words to wrap this up cleanly, give her a friendly goodbye, and let this timid creature be on her way. But just as I reach this conclusion, Makina slowly moves her hand to the rear of her skirt, grabs something with her stubby fingers, and pushes it in front of my eyes. What's this thing? At a glance, the item in Makina's small hand is a toy-like object roughly the size of an egg, with an LCD screen buried into the center. What's that? On closer examination, there's some unknown life form or monster, most closely resembling a chick, displayed in blocky pixels on the central LCD. It seems to be programmed with some cheap animations, about 3 patterns or so. Ah. Come to think of it, I remember reading a news article about this a few years ago. After developing the smallest 3-axis geomagnetism sensor in the world at the time, a certain company fed that technology into a children's electronic toy, which then became an explosive hit among grade schoolers. It's a petameter, right? One of those things where the pet grows up faster the more you walk? Nodding her head, Makina returns the petameter in her hand to her waist. In other words, she wasn't looking for anything in particular, Her wandering itself was the objective. Walking's a good thing, since it's aerobic exercise without too much strain on the joints. And if you're going to walk anyway, having some sort of visible result from the effort might make it feel more worthwhile.
お外にはあまり出たくないから。
Makina points at the school gate as she speaks. I see. It makes sense that she'd want to avoid crowded places, given her extreme shyness. That would restrict her strolls to pacing around the school grounds, which would quickly get repetitive. So the digital pet serves as a distraction from that boredom. Most likely. You like taking walks?
微妙。
Sorta, is it? Well, walking for fun at this age might be a little odd. It seems more like the hobby of an old man. You have any other interests? Like reading, for example? Read any books lately?
本？
Manga's fine too. Whatever. To tell the truth, I'd already heard from Amane that Makina often reads books, and reading is a hobby of mine as well. I think it's a decent common topic for starters. In response to my question, Makina holds her right index finger to her chin and mumbles, while gazing up at the sky.
クイズの本。
Quiz, huh? Was it interesting?
裸眼で直視すると命に関わる危険なお菓子ってなんだ？
Life-threatening to observe with the naked eye. What kind of death ray weapon is that? And a sweet, of all things. Some new tech from the West? Just looking at it is dangerous. Would mean it's probably some variety of optical weapon. Something like an X-ray possessing mass, or some sort of beam saber-style light-based killing tool. No, wait. If just seeing it is dangerous, some sort of super weapon that radiates a pulse to the receptors of the eyeball, using a flickering pattern to stimulate the brain cells and trigger accelerated apostas? Hold it. This thing is a sweet, right? A sweet. Where the hell do we go from there? All I'm getting is some sort of chocolate pastry shooting out a mysterious beam of light. Pew pew pew? Don't know. I give up. What's the answer?
みたらし団子。
What?
見たらし団子。見たら死ぬのよ。
See and die. Huh. I get it. I missed that angle. Candy.
もう行ってもいい？
Yeah. Sorry to hold you up. Without even a bye or later, Makina leaves the area at a trot, as if fleeing from me. It doesn't seem like she outright hates me, though.
逆じゃないかな。
How long have you been there?
みたらし団子のあたりかな。
What do you mean by the opposite?
まあなんつうか単純に人見知りってのもあるけど、マキナはユウジ君に嫌われないようにしてるんだと思うよ。
Trying to not be disliked?
マキナって本当はもっと明るい子なんだけど、明るすぎてうざがられることも多いから警戒してるのよ。
True enough. I remember seeing her rushing around brandishing a cicada and cackling that first time. If that's her normal state, then the way she behaves in front of me would certainly be a product of deliberate self-restraint, but...
警戒しているってことは、ユウジ君に嫌われないように意識してるって証拠じゃない？
I think it could be interpreted as simple fear as well.
まあ、怯え半分ってのはあると思うけど、 大丈夫じゃないかな。
What makes you say that?
さっきマキナと会話するとき、ユウジくんマキナの目線に合わせて腰を低くしたでしょ。あれって実は有効手段なんだよね。
Yeah. When I was a kid, there was a time I'd been surrounded by unfamiliar adults and found myself on the brink of tears. When one of the adults stooped down to talk with me face to face, I immediately got emotionally attached. Looking back, I feel like shouting, "You sure got attached to an outrageous person," or complaining about what an idiot I was, but...
ほら、私も背高い方だし、最初はマキナもなかなか懐かなくってさ、目線を合わせて話すって裏技に気づくのに1ヶ月もかかったよ。
And now she's glued to you. Or something like that?
確かにべったりだけど、言うほどいつも一緒ってわけじゃないわよ。マキナは基本的に一人で遊ぶ方が好きだし。それにあの子、感情のムラが激しいっていうか、あんまり変な意味にとってほしくないんだけど、ずっと一緒にいると疲れるのよね。
Maybe she's playing by herself because she understands that?
うまく説明できないけど、猫みたいなものよ。構ってほしい時だけニャンニャン言ってすり寄ってきて、飽きたらスッといなくなっちゃう感じ。くせっ気でふわふわしてるし、体もぐにゃぐにゃで柔らかいし、体温が高いから抱くと暖かいし、なんか甘ったるい匂いするし、猫っぽいよね。
A cat. I see.
まあ、慣れないうちはそっけないかもしれないけど、絶対に悪い子じゃないから仲良くしてあげてよ。
I don't plan to force her to be friends if she doesn't want to be. But yeah, I'll try to avoid being hated. If I avoid unnecessary contact, I shouldn't inspire any hatred, or come to hate anyone myself. In exchange, I won't be liked or come to like anyone either. Maintaining emotional distance along appropriate lines is an essential but extremely difficult aspect of forming efficient interpersonal relationships. Of course, there are always these careless puppy dog types who will leap into your arms wagging their tails right from the start.
何よ、私の顔じっと見て。
Well, just thinking about how beautiful you are.
キスしたくなっちゃった？
All right, Amane, close your eyes. Her chest swelling with some ridiculous expectation, Amane closes her eyes and thrusts out her lips as instructed. Moving quickly and silently, I make good my getaway, leaving the girl to her foolishness.
どこ行ったのよ。もう意地悪。
I see. Makina may have the right idea. Leaving out later or goodbye entirely and silently running away certainly is less troublesome. Don't take it the wrong way, Amane. It's not that I hate you. I'm just trying to avoid being hated by you. Read books in a well-lit area. That was a teaching of my master's. At that time, I was accustomed to reading while shut up in a closet or dark room, so those words felt a bit refreshing. Of course, it's not like I'm worried about obeying the teachings of a woman who's already dead, and I'm still not good with direct sunlight. But here I am searching for a bright place with a book in hand anyway. Aren't I adorable? No reason to wander around looking for a sunny place in this shitty heat. Stepping away from the air-conditioned school building, I unfold the school's admissions guide pamphlet. On the coated threefold brochure is a bird's-eye view illustration of the campus, with a mark to the south of the schoolhouse annotated "Planned Site of Library Construction." Planned site. meaning there isn't a library yet, I guess. Although there is something library-esque on the second floor of the school building, the collection only holds around 200 books. You can apply to have a book stocked if you're after one in particular, and apparently a bookmobile replaces the existing collection every once in a while, but it doesn't seem like it's being used that heavily. In other words, there is no reason to go out of my way to borrow the key to use it. I brought my own books, and there are plenty of well-lit areas besides the library. While casually looking over the pamphlet, I find the words Rose Garden. This is definitely our principal's doing.
乙女たちの通う学園にはやっぱりバラ園が必要よね。毎年新入生が入学する時期には先輩たちが自分で育てたバラを新入生の胸に添えるの。素敵。
Or so I can easily imagine a certain woman who doesn't know how to act her age deluding herself. Pretty flowers might calm your mind, but they won't fill your belly. If you've got room to grow them, it would be better used for an edible plant, but telling her that would probably make things unpleasant. I'll just have to remember to greet Principal Tachibana with a good day, One-sama, the next time I see her. A rose garden, eh? I don't have any interest in edible flowers, but I guess there would be a shade tree or two as well. Imagining myself reading under a tree surrounded by blooming roses brings a smirk to my face. Guided by these silly thoughts, I decide to head toward the rose garden for the first and only time. They call it a rose garden, but not a single one's in bloom. Based on the map, this is definitely the right spot, and there's even a white arch that seems appropriate, but from what I can see, there aren't any roses in flower. Maybe the garden's still a work in progress, or perhaps they're cutting the buds during the summer. Well, not like I came to see roses in the first place, so whatever. That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting anyone else to be here. No, more importantly, what the heck is she doing? I approach silently and touch Makina's neck in the area of her carotid artery. She's got a pulse. On close inspection, she's breathing quietly, so I guess the wicked stepmother, Amane in this case, didn't feed her a poisoned apple. She's sleeping? Wait, this thing is a cat? I think? A large cat is serving as the soundly sleeping Makina's pillow. I'd taken it for a stuffed animal at first glance. It sure looks like a fluffy toy, but when I draw close, the stubby ears buried in its fur twitch like miniature radar antennas. My next question, why sleep out here, soon resolves itself. I see. It's definitely nice and cool here. Cats are knowledgeable about cool places, or so they used to say. As for Makina, I expect she was wandering around by herself as per usual, then grew exhausted and collapsed into sudden sleep on the spot. I watched the particularly gnawed apple on Makina's chest rise and fall with her breathing. She fell asleep in the middle of eating, just like a baby. I noticed that Makina's mouth is half open and dripping transparent drool. Not to mention, her hair's a scruffy mess, the ribbon on her uniform is crooked, and she's wearing different socks on her left and right leg. What's with this girl? As I look down upon her, Makina suddenly snuffles noisily. What a weirdo. It's been a while since the last time I laughed at a woman's sleeping face. Even as I'm filled with the desire to keep watching, discomfort of the peaceful atmosphere of this place also wells up within me. At that moment, I sense someone watching me and look over to find that Makina's pillow cat has woken and is staring up at me in surprise. Sorry to bother you. Go back to sleep. I leave them, taking care to avoid making noise, and sit down under a tree a little ways away. Whew. Wandering around as she pleases, then falling asleep in the nearest cool place when she gets tired. I see. She certainly does remind you of a cat. I'm envious. That's not sarcasm or anything. I'm genuinely envious of Makina. I'm sure that she brings that little pocket of naturally peaceful space with her wherever she goes. I think that's something worth envying, and it's probably very precious to her as well. Which might well be why she doesn't want to step outside this sanctuary of a school when she can avoid it. Inside this sanctuary, that would crumble in a moment without the protection of others. I wonder if the day will come when I too can sleep in that utterly defenseless way. Turning toward the sound, I notice the fat white cat from before appearing from the direction of the thicket I just left. Rustling its way through the foliage on stubby legs, it stops suddenly when it spots me sitting under the shade of my tree. Glaring at me with sleepy-looking eyes, it lets out a single disgruntled meow. My bad. After getting suddenly awoken in the middle of a pleasant nap, it's only natural. If I were pulled out of bed on a Sunday morning by some pushy religious solicitors, I'm sure I'd make a similar face. Although the fat cat doesn't seem to have accepted my apology, he snuffles roughly and lumbers away from this place. As I'm watching the cat's dignified exit, the bushes start to rustle again. I hear the sound of a dim-witted creature awakening and lazily stretching out its body. When I take a look, Makina's crouched on the ground on all fours, bending her back. She really is a cat in human form. Makina opens her mouth, holds down a yawn, and rubs roughly at the tears spilling out of the corner of her eyes. After a restless look around the area, she draws herself up off the ground. It's not like I'm doing anything I need to be ashamed of, but before I realize it, I've hidden myself from her. After standing stock still for a moment, Makina takes a bite from the apple in her hand and wanders off briskly. And where's she off to now? It doesn't look like she's got any particular destination in mind. Driven by an interest I find difficult to pin down, I decide to quietly follow Makina. There's no regularity to Makina's actions. Just when I think she's walking straight towards something, she'll come to a sudden stop, look around restlessly, and head off in a different direction. Doesn't seem like she's lost or anything, so I suppose she's just moving wherever her whims take her. Unfortunately, that randomness makes it pretty tough to tail her. It wouldn't be a serious problem if she noticed me, but if I just call out to her now, I have the feeling she'll scamper off again. I skillfully hide my presence and continue shadowing her movements. Tailing a girl without her knowledge. Objectively speaking, I guess this would be stalking. Just as I'm finally starting to get fed up with following Makina's directionless rambling, which resembles the random staggering of a sleepwalker more than anything else, the rare wandering monster in question comes to a sudden halt. Her resting place is an area on the outskirts of the school courtyard, in front of an artificial cement pond of uncertain purpose. Makina totters her way up to the pond, thrusts her hand in the pocket of her skirt to retrieve some half-eaten white bread, and starts tearing off chunks to throw in the water. Every time Makina's small hand hurls a bit of bread into the pond, a loud splashing sound resonates from the surface of the water. apparently someone stocked it with fish, and she's feeding them.
たくさん食べてまるまると太るといいのよさ。
She's fattening them up to eat?
ザニガニ
Clawfish? Machina looks around the area rapidly, grabs a short tree branch lying nearby, then leans over the depth of the pond and begins poking into the water. Although I was puzzled there for a moment, it seems like she's trying to capture a crawfish she spotted in the pond.
もうちょいザニガニもうちょいこっち
This looks risky. Given her character, it's obvious she'll be taking a face-first dive into the pond very soon if I just sit here. I approach Machina from behind and call out to her. Hey! Watch out or you'll fall into that pond. I guess I shouldn't have called out to her out of nowhere. Machina's hand slips off the ground in a stereotypical slapstick pratfall. Whoops. Swiftly reaching out to the floundering Machina, I firmly seize the collar of her school uniform and pull her back to safety. Dangled by the nape of her neck like a kitten, Machina lets out a feline cry. You're light. Are you even 40 kilos? There isn't any difference in weight from the backpack I'm always carrying. Given this weight and size, I could lug her a good 25 kilometers in a single day.
下ろしてよ
Oh, sorry.
びっくりしたのよさ。女の子を驚かせたらダメなのよ。
I wasn't planning to call out to you, but it's better than letting you fall into the pond, isn't it?
助けてくれてありがとう。
No need to thank me. I did the natural thing given the circumstances. Look at me shamelessly doing the life-saving hero number, despite being in large part responsible for the problem in the first place. I might have the makings of an American politician. Machina gives a quick bow of thanks and, without another word, starts to run away from me yet again. Hey, hold it. Where do you think you're going?
Huh?
Don't give me a... Why are you running away from me?
別に逃げてないのよ。私に何か用？
When she asks me point blank, it's not like I have any particular justification for detaining her here. That said, it's kind of unpleasant to be avoided this blatantly. At the very least, if there's a reason she's doing this, I want to know about it. I think I asked this before, but are you scared of me?
そうじゃないけど。
If there's some reason why you're avoiding me, how about telling me? If possible, I'll try to address it. Again with the silent treatment. Deciding to pursue the conversation more patiently, I squat down to match my line of sight with Machina's. Do you remember my name?
風見裕二。
That's right. Yuji's fine.
名前で呼ぶの恥ずかしいよ。
Okay. Then call me what you want.
じゃあお兄ちゃん。
Oni? I have to say, being called her big brother is a bit embarrassing on my end, but... Well... Alright. When I turn around in response to the splashing sounds coming from the pond behind me, there are a number of fish gathered at the surface of the water flapping their mouths in demand for more food. It seems they've come to expect a handout when people stand near the pond. Machina, you still have breadcrumbs left? Makina thrusts her hand into her skirt pocket and rummages through its contents.
これは違う。これも違う。
As she talks, she pulls things out of her pockets one after the other. The items that emerge are mostly sweets like candy, chocolate, and chewing gum, along with an erratic selection of tools like nail clippers, rubber bands, and glue sticks. Although I've heard that women's purses are connected to the fourth dimension, this girl's pockets seem to be connected to a garbage dump. Makina carelessly rains down the rubbish that emerges on the ground around her. One after the other. What is this? I pick up a plastic container shaped like a large film canister. There's a label pasted on the side filled with numbers and symbols of uncertain meaning.
それはダメ。それはチルチルにあげるラムネなの。返して。
I'm not gonna steal it or anything. Here, take it. When I hold out the case to her, Makina snatches it back instantly.
これは絶対に食べたらダメなのよ。
I'm not gonna sneak bites of other people's food at my age.
そんなこと言って信用できないのよさ。世の中にはそう言っておいてこっそり隠れて食べちゃってすっかりいい気持ちになっちゃった大きいお姉さんもいるのよさ。
Amane, huh?
なんでアマネーだってわかったの？
I didn't. Just saying the first name that popped into my head. It really was her. Guess she's got a surprisingly gluttonous side.
私から聞いたって言ったら嫌なのよ。ほら、パンをあげるからこれで我慢するのよさ。
Good as her word, Makina shovels some half-eaten bread under my face.
はい、全部食べていいのよさ。いっぱい食べてまるまる太るのよ。
No, I wasn't planning to eat it. I take the bread scraps from Makina, tear off some small pieces, and throw them into the pond. The fish at the surface struggle like a pack of piranha for the food, messily gulping it all down. Nice appetite, huh? I thought these things were carp, but now that I get a closer look, they're actually goldfish?
金魚なのよ。去年神社のお祭りで私が救ったのよさ。
From a goldfish snatching game, eh?
そう。
If these were originally goldfish from a scooping game, they'd almost certainly be the tiny kind that's sold as live food for carnivorous fish in pet shops, but these things are huge.
毎日餌をあげてたらどんどん大きくなったのよ。
Fish generally can keep growing as long as they're alive, so the more you feed them, the bigger they'll get. What exactly have you been giving them, though?
パンとか普通に金魚の餌とか暇な時とか休み時間のたびにあげてたのよ。
Ah, I get it. You know, fish don't really know when they're full. They don't feel pain the way we do either, so they'll eat as much as you can give them, even if their stomachs are bulging out.
そうなの？
The number one cause of death among aquarium fish is indigestion from being overfed. That's what it said in something I read when I was a kid, at least.
なんて本？
I think it was a magazine called Monthly Junior Science. They mentioned it in some article about raising fish in ozonated water.
へえ、お魚の本なの？
It had articles on all sorts of things, not just fish, animals, space, whatever. My older sister was a seriously dedicated reader. I'd pick up magazines like that when she was finished, although half of it went over my head. As I'm recalling the content of those science magazines I read back then, I suddenly remember something. Hey, Makina, you had some pickled squid in that pocket, didn't you?
あ けど、金魚にあげるの？
No, just take it out for now. Also, have anything we could use as string?
お裁縫の木目糸ならあるけど、何するの？
You'll see. Receiving the squid from Machina, I firmly tie one end of the thread around it, then knot the other end to a tree branch I picked up at random.
釣り竿？
Exactly. So now I tossed the squid dangling by the thread into the pond. Around the area where I threw the squid, I can see the shape of the crawfish Machina had been poking at earlier. When I jiggled the squid in front of his face, within a matter of seconds the crawfish extends his pincers and firmly seizes the bait. There! Hooked him. See that?
すげえ！ザニガニ釣れた！
It's a crawfish, not a clawfish. You've got the word wrong. As I dangle the captured crustacean in front of her eyes, Machina stares at it with an expression of immense curiosity.
ザニガニ真っ赤だね。
There must be a lot of edible aquatic plants or something in there. Crawfish turn red when they have abundant food.
餌が少ないとどうなるの？
They turn blue.
青くなる？
If you take a small newborn crawfish and continuously give it food like potatoes, radishes, or sardines that don't contain carotene, it'll turn blue in a month or so.
本当に？
I read it in a book when I was a kid, and ended up trying it out myself. There were some that ended up with a lot of violet spots or white flecks, but I remember getting a few that turned deep blue as well.
いいなあ。私もやってみたい。
Okay, then try to catch one yourself. I pull the captured crawfish off the squid to return to the pond, then hand the fishing pole to Machina.
私に釣れるかな？やったことないのよさ。
Experiencing new things is always worthwhile, so you might as well start by trying to catch one yourself.
じゃあやってみる。
Don't fall into the pond, alright? Also, try to get the smallest one you can.
頑張るのよさ。
Taking the crude pole from me, Machina forcefully hurls the squid into the pond.
ザニガニ釣れるといいな。
I already told you, it's crawfish, not clawfish.
仕方がないのよさ。私はバカだから。
Is that the issue here? I mean, I do remember pronouncing snail as smail back when I was in elementary school for a while, but after my sister pointed it out to me, I stopped making that mistake. Didn't you have someone to point out that sort of mistake for you? Your mom, for instance.
お母さんは私のこと嫌っているから。
I see. There's no mother in the world who hates her child was my mother's line, but by now I'm all too well aware that the world isn't that simple. I suppose there really are mothers who hate their children. And for those children, that can't be a topic they want to chat about with some stranger. An awkward attempt at consolation would backfire here.
お兄ちゃんは優しい人なのね。
Me? Seems like I haven't quite gotten the hang of being called Oni-chan yet. You serious? How am I nice?
私の家族に無関心でいてくれるところ。
Just wasn't interested enough to risk it.
なんで嫌われてるのか興味ない？
I stare steadily at Machina's small back, silhouetted against the pond. If you want to talk, I'll listen.
それは私がバカだから。
Don't they say that kids are cuter when they're a little dumb?
私のバカを侮っちゃいけないのよ。こう見えても私、札付きで筋金入りのバカなのよさ。
Can't say I've ever heard of anyone with that fierce a reputation for being stupid before. Well, don't worry about it. There's nothing but idiots in my vicinity, including me.
私ね、別にお兄ちゃんのことが嫌いで避けてたわけじゃないのよ。逆に嫌われたくなくて、バカな子だなってそう思われないように、なるべく近寄らないようにしてたのよさ。
It's like I said, I'm surrounded by idiots. If I went around hating people for something like that, I'd run out of my supply of hate real fast. Well, there certainly are people who can't hold together their fragile sense of self-worth except by looking down on others. Even a few true idiots would take those emotions to the extreme, become dictators or cult leaders, and launch hunts against their inferiors. But why assume you'll be hated over something like that, anyway? That way of thinking seems counterproductive. Debase yourself by saying, I'm just an idiot, and you'll just puff up that many self-styled geniuses of the world.
でもね、私、あまねみたいに綺麗じゃないし、ユミちゃんみたいに頭良くないし、何の才能もないのよさ。
There's no point in standing around with your mouth open waiting for a talent to fall from the sky. You make your own.
どうやって？
No matter what you're doing, the most essential thing is to not give up. Fail as many times as it takes. Keep trying persistently until you can call yourself average.
それでも人並みだよ。
Average is just fine. If you can collect a nice group of average level skills, that's already above average. You've created your own sort of talent. Being a hard worker is a talent in its own right, were my sister's words. And from that group of average skills, you can work to improve further on the things that you think you're suited for. A person blessed with talent, in a matter of speaking, is just someone who found a path well suited to them early on. When you get down to it, people can accomplish nearly anything, as long as they don't give up. Obvious, but it's true. On the other hand, guys who give up at the first setback will never get anything done. There's no need to rush. You're still a kid. You've got time. Try out anything and everything. Struggle around as much as you want. I rest my hand on Makina's head with a gentle thump. It's at just the right height for this sort of thing. That's what school is for, right?
そうなのかな。
At the very least, I think the principal wants this school to be that sort of place. So you might as well throw out your chest and do as many stupid things as you want, with pride. Of course, if this girl ends up doing something truly dramatically stupid, the principal will be the one facing the music, so I'm probably overstepping my bounds just a little bit here.
じゃあ私、バカでもいいの？
Why not? Being dumb is fine. In the first place, guys who go around calling themselves geniuses are either weaklings with fragile egos, or jokers using the line to get a laugh. And even if you were some genius, that just makes it easy to mistake yourself for a perfect human and start slacking off. Hares like that get passed by the tortoises of the world eventually.
そっか。やっぱいい人ね、お兄ちゃん。
Don't get me wrong. I just wanted to try playing the nice guy for a bit. You shouldn't trust me that easily. Got it?
あ、知ってるそれ。ツンデレってやつなのよさ。チルチルがいつも練習してるのよ。勘違いしないでよねって。
How to put this? I'm not sure how I feel about being put in the same boat as that girl. Makina, I think you've got a bite. No need to rush. Slowly pull it out of the water.
ザリガニ、あ、違う。ザリガニ釣れてる。釣れたのよさ。
See? People can do anything if they try. So don't give up before you start, okay?
なんか自信ついた感じ。このザリガニを部屋に持って帰って青くなるか実験してみたい。
Okay. Then you should go to a Mane or Sache and see if you can find an aquarium to raise it in. Make sure only to feed it stuff without keratin.
アジとかイワシ、大根やジャガイモ。
Oh, you remembered. I put my hand on Makina's head and ruffle her hair around roughly.
こう見えても記憶力は結構いいのよ。
Alright. Better get that crawfish in water while it's still in good shape. Don't overfeed it, okay?
わかった。ありがとうお兄ちゃん。また遊んでくれる？
Yeah. See you later.
ありがとう。
Makina, still clutching the crawfish, waves her hand cheerfully and takes off at full speed toward the dorm. Thanks, huh? I don't recall doing anything worthy of much gratitude, but regardless, hearing such a happy thanks feels kind of pleasant. Maybe it's because I was raised in an environment where such words were very rare, but I think being able to thank others so freely is also a sort of talent. It probably seems perfectly commonplace to her, so I'm sure she's not even conscious of that skill. I sort of get the feeling she may just be overlooking the talent she does have. Ah, I get it. I guess that's what makes her an idiot. They say that idiots don't catch colds, but it's probably more accurate to say idiots don't realize when they've caught a cold. In the same way, because Makina's an idiot, she's probably oblivious to her own abilities. Honestly, what a weird girl. But then again, weird people are rarely boring. Or so I think. Basking in the peaceful, sluggish atmosphere Makina left in her wake. Hey everyone, J2 John Jeremy here. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click on subscribe and the bell icon to ensure you're kept up to date on the channel. Until next time, so long and take care.